What's up, curious youngsters? Every day we use different objects, and many times we don't really know how they work. From a simple bicycle pump to the mechanism behind an automatic rifle, we can investigate how everything works. For this and much more, these are 7 things you didn't know how they worked. Leaf blower. If we have to work on cleaning parks, sidewalks, or streets, our best ally could be the leaf blower, which allows us to clean up trash in a park in just seconds. This practical, lightweight tool can be used with one hand, but it's capable of generating winds that double the speed of a hurricane. To achieve this without sending us flying, it has 200 parts that work perfectly and in total coordination. Also, to make carrying the blower effortless, all the components are made from lightweight materials that optimize every gram, giving us very powerful machines that weigh less than a kilo. Inside a light but strong plastic casing, we find a powerful and super lightweight aluminum alloy motor. A motor that has a piston the size of a chess piece, which pumps continuously and ignites with a spark on every revolution. Another key element of this device is a wheel with blades about the size of a dinner plate, made from a blend of plastics that makes it lightweight and reinforced with fused glass. This combination of materials makes it amazingly strong and at the same time lightweight. And finally, it's quite interesting to know that when it's running, it spins almost as fast as a jet engine fan. And it's responsible for collecting 200,000 cubic centimeters of air per second and pushing it through a narrow nozzle that not only directs the air, but also increases the exit speed, reaching an amazing speed of about 250 kilometers per hour. AR-15 rifle. If we think about war weaponry, one of the most classic examples is the so-called AR-15 assault rifles. This type of semi-automatic weapon was developed starting in 1959 and is considered one of the most powerful and fastest on the market. The fact that it is semi-automatic means that the user has to pull the trigger to fire each bullet, but the weapon automatically gets ready to fire again. This rifle is characterized by being lightweight, and because it allows you to carry a lot of ammunition, being able to fire 10 to 100 rounds depending on the type of weapon without needing to reload. One of the most recognizable parts of its design is the rail that extends below the barrel, which not only makes it easier to grip, but can also be used to attach a flashlight or a laser. Inside, the rifle has a part called the selector, which allows us to choose between semi-automatic mode, automatic mode, or safe, which prevents it from being fired. Once the trigger is pulled, the hammer strikes the firing pin, which hits the cartridge base, igniting the propellant to propel the bullet. Due to the pressure from that explosion, the projectile is fired at a speed of 1 kilometers per second, which would destroy anything in its path. And the key to how the AR-15 works is that it has a gas system on top. What allows this rifle to reuse part of the high-pressure gas produced when firing to operate a piston and load another projectile into the mechanism, known as gas-operated reloading, is what starts the reloading action. With this, first the bolt opens and the used casing is ejected from one side, while at the same time the firing pin mechanism is moved, a new projectile is loaded, and the bolt closes again, which allows the rifle to be ready to fire in less than a second. Stay away from guns, Timmy. Escalator. In large buildings like airports and shopping malls, there are escalators that go up and down 24 hours a day, transporting millions of people all over the world. But have you ever wondered how they work? These powerful machines can smoothly and safely take us from one level to another. And to do so, they have several secrets. The first secret lies in the way they are designed, since their base is a huge, incredibly solid steel frame with more than 1,500 parts cut and welded precisely. A metal framework that has to withstand about 54 tons of weight without coming apart every time the escalator operates at full capacity. And that's why it has to be welded at the ends, and several diagonal joints are added to make it even stronger. Another secret lies in its steps, which allow for a comfortable and at the same time silent ride. These steps are joined by hand and are hooked with pins to a strong chain that is 60 meters long. Its internal mechanism has 2 sets of wheels that run on different rails, which not only keeps the steps aligned but also allows them to maintain their shape on the slope, and flatten at the ends to make getting on and off easier. Additionally, for safety, it has aluminum alloy plates shaped like combs that help minimize the risk of clothing or footwear getting caught. And finally, we find the heart of this tireless machine in a giant electric motor that's hidden beneath the top part of the escalator. A motor that works full-time and is so powerful it could lift the weight of 2 elephants without any problem. Inside, we find 1,600 meters of copper wire and an electromagnet that spins a shaft 700 times per minute, which drives several gears connected to a large chain, making the traction force push the steps at the same speed, no matter how much weight there is. Measuring tape. The measuring tape is a professional measuring instrument, but it is also found in any household toolbox because it is the best option when we need to measure something. This device is not only very precise, but it also fits perfectly in the palm of our hand, and despite its small size, it has a rather complex operating mechanism and is a little feat of engineering. Its reinforced plastic outer case contains at least 26 components that work together every time we take a measurement. On the outside, we see a lock that can secure the measuring tape without damaging it, and a button that releases it and makes the tape retract in a fraction of a second. Inside, we find a thin metal strip, tightly coiled and marked very precisely millimeter by millimeter. At the tape's end, we find another strip of metal, nearly the same length attached. A very important component that is wound around a central shaft and works like a tight spring that gets even tighter when the measuring tape is pulled out. When the lock is released, the spring quickly unwinds and pulls the tape back in instantly. And the tension of this part is carefully adjusted because it needs to be just right so that the tape can move smoothly, but without hurting the person using it when it retracts. Bicycle pump, a manual. Bicycle pump might seem like a simple object because it's easy to use, and we always have a few around if we like to ride bikes. But this very common tool is actually a fairly simple piece of engineering. And if you were wondering how it works so that anyone can use it, you should know that inside there are more than 70 different parts working together, forming a complicated and precise mechanism. The first key piece is a flexible and very durable piston made of leather, which is responsible for trapping the air inside the pump each time it is hand pumped, and at the same time serves as a seal so that the air does not escape to the outside. Secondly, we have a valve that directs the captured air into a reinforced hose. And last but not least, inside the nozzle that connects to the wheel, we have seals that make it airtight to ensure there is no leakage while the air passes through. Obviously, keeping that number of parts sealed and operating safely is a big challenge that requires each of its small components to be manufactured in the exact size so that they fit perfectly together. And finally, we have a key instrument, the pressure gauge, a device that is responsible for controlling and measuring the gas pressure. This last one works thanks to the same air that, when entering the pump, raises a rubber diaphragm, which pushes a spring attached to a needle. So, as the amount of air increases, that spring turns the needle, indicating the pressure accurately. Let's see if you knew that, my friend. Safe. If we need to safeguard valuable objects, we might consider having a safe, since in these spaces we can protect our belongings from theft or fire, thanks to a complex mechanism that isolates its contents and makes it impossible to open unless someone knows the code. To understand how it works, we need to know that a mechanical safe like the one we're looking at right now has more than 500 components that work together to provide maximum security. Its outer part serves two protective functions. First, it has a steel shell that is 5 times thicker than that of cars, which means it is practically impossible to cut or drill through. In addition, several layers of concrete made with ground rocks and plaster are added to protect the interior from the extreme temperatures of a possible fire. As for the security system, the standard device allows for more than 1 million possible combinations, thanks to mathematics. The dial on the outside turns 3 metal wheels that have small teeth or notches. Entering each number sets them in specific positions, and if all 3 match the combination, the wheel's shapes align to let a bar pass through a free space. This bar then catches a lever and will unlock the hand wheel. When we turn this wheel, A complex system of gears simultaneously retracts the 26 reinforced steel bolts that lock the door, and these bolts are harder to cut than the exterior of the safe itself. And now, to close it again, you just need to turn the handwheel once more.
Lanzador de pelotas.
If you like playing tennis, you've probably seen that you can practice and improve your shots with a ball machine. It's an ingenious invention that shoots balls in different directions with impressive accuracy. But do you know how it works? The outside part of the ball machine looks like a rectangular box and seems pretty simple. But in reality, this is a highly complex machine with more than 300 durable components and very precise calibration. First, we have a top container that can hold hundreds of balls. Inside the structure, we find two very hard but super grippy wheels that are the ones that launch the balls. These wheels spin in opposite directions about 4,000 times per minute, thanks to a pair of fairly powerful electric motors. The ball that's going to be launched is propelled through an increasingly narrow ramp, which squeezes the ball to almost half its size before being shot out at over 150 kilometers per hour. Accelerating each ball to that speed over such a short distance is very difficult, and for the machine to do it without shaking, the wheels must spin smoothly. That's why their balance is checked periodically with special technology, and corrections are made wherever they're needed. Finally, the whole set of parts is connected to a central computer that programs the direction of each launch so that the balls don't land out of bounds. And this computer is a real brain that is carefully calibrated at the factory so that the ball launcher doesn't fail once it's on the court.